Hey guys, it's Natalie. I'm going to talk about my reasoning for not cutting weight for the Arnold. I got a few questions on Instagram that I'll touch on. I just got to pull it up. A lot of people were really supportive, and I want to just tell you guys that I really appreciate how supportive you all are because it's kind of stressful to decide between, whether or not I'm going to cut weight or just stay where I'm at and compete there because powerlifting is weight class competition. Your Wilks, and then also if you have any records, that all depends on what weight class you compete in. Luckily, I already competed at Raw Nationals, so I don't really have to re-qualify this year as a 63, but still I like to compete in my desired weight class. So I have a question from on Instagram, sizable_Dorit. She said, thank you for posting this, very timely. I too have PCOS and endometriosis and family history of type 2 diabetes. And I've also recently been reading about low carbohydrate diets for athletic performance. She asked about how I have approximately 50 grams of fast-acting, high glycemic carbs before lifting. Is that every session? No, it's not before every session. I'm peaking right now, so I'm only having about 20 to 50 carbs per session, and that can be like, I'll be honest, I eat the candy corn pumpkins because I think they're delicious, and I personally don't feel there's a difference between dextrose powder and eating a piece of candy corn. And I'm not trying to be miserable and get nauseous before I go and hit heavy singles while I'm lifting. A lot of people have been telling me about their struggles with metabolic disorders and how it's been really hard for them to lose weight and they haven't been able to find anything that works. But I'm going to tell you that I've had the exact same problem. And it's not even been a weight loss issue. It's been more of an inflammation issue. I know a lot of people like to say, oh, you're not inflamed, you're just fat. But I'm eating way more calories than I was eating before, and I'm consistently losing weight for inflammation and maintaining my strength. Like I said in my last video, I weigh 145 pounds, and the last DEXA scan I had, their scale had me weighing at 150.1 pounds, and I'll post pictures so you guys can see the DEXA scan results from when I got them done. My first DEXA scan was July 11th, 2016, and I was 29.5% body fat. I weighed 162 pounds. I had 47.8 pounds of fat tissue and 108.2 pounds of lean tissue. In 3 months, I was able to, at my second DEXA scan, go from the 29.5 to 24.4% body fat, and I weighed 150.1 pounds. My fat tissue weighed 36.7 pounds, so that's almost an 11-pound difference between my first DEXA scan and my second one. And my lean tissue was 107.6 pounds, so I really only lost 0.6 pounds of lean mass, and I lost 11 pounds of fat. And like I said, that was a higher percentage fat diet, not a true ketogenic diet. So why am I telling you this? What does this have to do with me not doing a cut for the Arnold? When I cut from 162 pounds in July to 150 pounds in October, when I started my water cut, I weighed 148 pounds. So that meant that I had to cut 10 pounds of water to compete as a 63 kilogram lifter, 138.8 pounds. So that is a 10-pound water cut. My quick math calculations really only cut 5% of your body mass, and that would be 7.44 pounds. So I cut 10 pounds of water. In order to cut 10 pounds of water, I suffered. And I am here to tell you that I would never do that again, and that's why I'm not doing it now. Because I have no idea how I was able to squat, bench, or deadlift at the meet. Maybe I knocked something loose in my head while I was taking 6 hot baths to make weight. I have no idea. Maybe it was just the sheer will that I wanted to be a 63 kilogram lifter and I had to do it to prove something to myself. I'm not really even sure what I was trying to prove to myself, but it wasn't really worth it because I was not healthy and I'm still working on being healthier. I feel a lot better now than I did then, and I feel like I'm constantly evolving each time I do something to try and optimize not only my performance but my health, because powerlifting is not a sprint. You are not going to go from point A to point B overnight in a year or 5 years. It takes a lot of hard work, it takes a lot of consistency, persistence, and it's going to take, for me, with PCOS and endometriosis and recovering from binge eating disorder, it's going to take me a while to work down to 138 pounds if I even decide to walk around at 138 pounds, which I might not. I might decide walking around at 143 or 140 pounds is just right for me and I can do a quick little tiny water cut rather than some insane 10-pound water cut that makes me question life as we know it. So it's just really that I don't want to keep doing this vicious cycle of water cut, water cut, water cut. I would rather compete in a heavier weight class at the Arnold and see where that takes me. I'm really looking forward to it because I, like I said, have hit all my goals that I had set forth when I had foot surgery. 2015 was a nightmare. I lost part of my vision in my right eye. I still don't know why. I was on birth control at the time. That could have contributed to it. I'm no longer on birth control. And I was on birth control to regulate my hormones because I have PCOS and endometriosis. So I'm no longer on that. And then a couple months after that happened, my mother passed away. So I was dealing with a lot of emotions through that, and I still am dealing with it. And then a month after she passed away the day before my birthday, I dislocated my Liz Frank in my left foot and required internal fixation surgery. So I had 2 screws put in my midfoot to hold it together because it kept slipping out of the joint while I was walking. So it was kind of a shitstorm, for lack of a better term, at the middle of the year in 2015. So after I had foot surgery, I sat on the couch, gained a bunch of weight. I'm not even sure how I gained so much weight because I was just trying to keep my head above water at that point because I was so sad about everything that had happened. I felt like everything that I had worked for with powerlifting was never going to come to fruition, and I also was mourning the loss of my mother and also part of my vision. So it was pretty tough, and I'm not making excuses for what happened, but I had a lot to come back from after my foot surgery, and I'm just really happy that I am where I am right now. So when I originally set my goals for 2016, I made it apparent to myself and everyone around me that I was going to compete as a 63, and I wanted to break the American record squat, and I wanted to get second place at Raw Nationals, and I also wanted to qualify for the Arnold and compete at the Arnold. So just competing at the Arnold was my goal. It didn't matter to me what weight class I competed at. Doesn't matter if I only hit my openers, which I really hope doesn't happen. But if I don't PR anything at the Arnold, I'll still be happy because I was able to hit my goal of competing there, and I will have hit all my goals for my post-surgical recovery mentality. So why is this important to talk about all this stuff? I think it's important for everyone to think about why they're doing things and what makes you tick, because you're the only one that knows the answers to that. Like I said, I'm not going to water cut for this meet because I want to have longevity in the sport and I want to be healthy not just for powerlifting, but for the rest of my life. I'm in nursing school, I work at a hospital, and I want to be able to continue on and accomplish other great things, not just in powerlifting, but in my professional career as well. And I think it's very important that everyone creates an open dialogue about things that are hard, because everybody posts their best self on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. People aren't posting things about, oh, my mom died, or I broke my foot in half. I posted stuff like that because I try to be real as possible. But a lot of people really only post the good stuff. But the harsh reality is that the good comes with the bad, and you have to be able to ride the wave of life, because it's going to take you down a little bit every now and then, but then the next wave comes and you're riding on the top of the wave again. So I hope this answered some of your questions about why I'm not cutting weight. I'm going to do another video in a little while about more ketogenic stuff, explaining stuff like the keto flu and what you can do to get started on a ketogenic diet and who should do the ketogenic diet. So let me know if you guys have any questions. I hope you liked the video.